Hey guys, RPM here. Hope you're doing well. Having a really great day. In this video, I am going to be playing around with my new Bitmain L3 Plus. It's new to me because I just bought it from shorturl.at for around I think $250 or so. And I think that's the going rate for these right now if you look on eBay. But the biggest reasons to why I bought this is because I heard that there was some way to undervolt the L3 Plus to become efficient as a mini Doge. So I've been trying to play around with that recently and not waste anyone's time. I have not been able to do it. And the software or the firmware that I've been trying on this L3 Plus is the Hivon ASIC firmware, which I will show you guys later on in this video. But this came already applied with the Hivon ASIC firmware, and that is something I've been wanting to try with my other ASIC miners like S19J and whatnot, but apparently I didn't have the correct control boards for my S19J Pro, which apparently was the BeagleBone one. I don't really know much about that, but anyways, besides the point, my L3 Plus here, you guys saw in the beginning here, right now I'm just using a stock overclock profile, and I think we're getting about 504 mega hash on the script algo for Litecoin, merge mining Dogecoin, and we're using about 234 volt times 2.9 amps. So if you did the math there, that's around, I'm gonna say 694 watts or so. And we are utilizing a 2000 watt power supply. This just looks like a typical Bitcoin China branded mining power supply. So I think the efficiency on this power supply is not going to be that great, but this L3 Plus is pristine. This is seriously a clean looking L3 Plus. Thank you coastalcryptomining.com for this. So I want to go into the computer and I want to show you guys the Hivon ASIC firmware that I've been playing around with the L3 Plus, and all the different frequencies and voltages, numbers and stuff that I've tried out, and also recorded the efficiency of each of the settings that I tried to see just if I can get lower efficiency on this compared to like a mini Doge. Definitely not against a L7. That's the best script miner right now for mining. So I'll see you all in the computer. So some of you guys may remember I used to have another L3 Plus back in the day, and I was mining back in my condo back in the day. That was pretty funny, in a high rise. And anyways, I used to have an L3 Plus, and I did some fun stuff like solo mining on it for like 7 months, and I never got a Litecoin block, never, and that was really sad. But I tried a firmware called Bliss Z. I think that's a very popular one, a lot of people know, and I was ultimately getting around, I think, 500 mega hash as well, 520 mega hash, but at like, you know, around 700 watts or so. And so it was great, right? It was a good firmware to use, and I think a lot of people still use it to this day. But now there is a new one, and I'm not sponsored by them in this video, but Hivon has a ASIC firmware for a lot of different ASIC miners out there, and I'm just trying it now as I have it in a new HiveOS farm, which I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, this is my first time trying it and seeing how all the stats are on here in terms of the watts, the voltage, any hardware errors, ASIC status, temperature, frequency. And if I go to overclocking, okay, this is where, just to show you guys. So right now I have it on a 660 watt, 504 mega hash profile. And you can see here, there are a bunch of other profiles here, which I tried. And as you get higher, it becomes less efficient. And here is the Excel doc that I have written up here of the different overclock and frequencies that I tried. And obviously it seems like as we go low, like the lowest possible wattage, or sorry, the hash rate that I could go, and wattage, I guess, I was able to go down to 164 mega hash, but that gives us an efficiency watt per hash here of about 1.31. And as we go up here, Okay, so the profile that I was using, or I'm using right now, is giving an efficiency of 1.34, which is pretty close to the 1.31 here, obviously. So just to go quickly show you here amongst the other ASIC miners out in the market right now. So that's gonna be up to not as good as that LT5 Pro, Goldshell 8X5S maybe there's a low power mode there, I'm not quite sure. It's hovering around these areas here. Okay, so Goldshell Mini Doge, it seems like it still beats the L3 Plus, even with some people say there is L3 Pluses that can do 628 watts. I personally cannot get that. Okay, and just to go back to now why I've been doing this whole thing is because of a Reddit post. Okay, there was a Reddit post about a year ago running an L3 Plus at 500 to 550 watts. And then someone commented, yes, I have a solar powered bank of 6 L3++ that can run at night on a reduced power draw of 66 watts per hash board, equals about 264 watts at approximately 350 megahash per L3 unit. The frequency per hash board, 112 megahertz, and the voltage is set to 10. So I tried this, and I was not able to get that result, okay, according to my testing numbers here of 112 and 10 volt here. Okay, so I was getting 146 megahash, 228 watts, and I'll quickly show you how I did that in HiveOS here. So in the overclock profiles, for anyone who wants to do this, just go manual, then frequency. This is where you can change all the way, okay? So a lot of, you can go all the way up to 650. I probably don't recommend that, but yeah, I tried 112, and then the 2, I just changed that to 112, so just, capping it at that number. And then the ASIC voltage, I just did 10. All right, that's how I did it. And I tried a number of different other settings, like I tried lowest, and it would just, it wouldn't go past, pretty much yield me the same efficiency results as the other settings that I've tried. Around the megahertz setting. So it wasn't really that great. And I mean, there's so many different megahertz settings here, frequency numbers that you have to test, and testing takes a long time. It even says here that this will fine tune the chips in a short time, and further tuning of the red chips will be done seldom. Usually it doesn't take more than 24 hours, with a check of every 3 hours. But if you don't initially launch the tuning, the chips will not be tuned, and will check every 3 hours. Will take much more time until the chips are tuned. It can even take a days. And if you work at suboptimal frequency, the voltage ratios, more red chips will appear. And looking at the ASIC status, and actually if we go to the miner itself, we can go see, this is where things become a lot more in depth. And this is where once you flash your L3 Plus, for instance, you can set up the farm hash, and you can just copy your farm hash in the settings tab here to connect your L3 Plus or whichever ASIC you have onto the Hivon ASIC firmware site. So pretty cool. But if we go to advanced settings here, there is global settings for frequency, ASIC voltage. This is a lot more finer detail here, which I thought was pretty cool. And then if we go to the manual chips frequency here, this is something I have not played around with. I thought this was pretty cool. I mean, I've seen this on the Bliss Z firmware as well. Again, I've never tested that as well, but man, look at the fine tuning you can do on every single little ASIC chip here. This is something I am not willing to spend my time on, to specify each individual one and go through all that. This is just, I don't know if any of you guys have done this, if there's some special way to really figure out how each one works optimally and, efficiently. Let me know. If any of you guys that have an L3 Plus, I would love to know. But this is pretty cool. You can see a lot of great info here. You guys, I see I'm mining to litecoinpool.org, and it shows, watts, mega hash, a bunch of different numbers. Once you are in the web GUI of the L3 Plus, right? This is the web GUI of the L3 Plus. Just like normally GPU mining, you can go to the web GUI of just like a GPU mining rig, except you can have all your ASICs on here and you can manage them this way, which is really cool, right? There's flight sheets here. You can do your own flight sheet. And I'll just quickly show you guys that are interested in trying this. Litecoin, wallet, RedPandaMining, which on litecoinpool.org, it's actually, the wallet is the name of your account. Okay, it's not your LTC address. Depends on which mining pool you're mining on, if it has an account or not. So just beware of that. You might have to change that. Okay, just as you can see, my wallet is my username on litecoinpool.org. And then the server address, of course, stratum, password 123, pretty common stuff. And that's it, right? And then you can select the different overclocking profiles for your L3 Plus for those that have. I wish I can show you guys other examples. Maybe I'll put my S19 on here just another time just to go through that. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. And yeah, I ultimately was not able to get this down to the efficiency of what I was wanting to or hoping to do. And if anyone in the comments, and if you guys were able to do that, right, at the Bitmain L3 Plus undervolted 350 mega hash, 264 watts, as that guy claimed, that's a 0.75 efficiency watt per hash, right? Pretty close to BlockMiner and beating the LT Lite and whatnot. But yeah, you know, that, I guess I can delete this now. That's a lie. And I guess my L3 Plus that I have is going to stay out in these other efficiency numbers, older numbers. And I don't think it's efficient for me to, or profitable for me to run this L3 Plus anyway. But you know what? I'm going to keep this miner on in the meantime. And maybe, you know what, we'll come back to this another time because maybe I do want to try the Bliss Z firmware again. But a lot of people were saying, I was just reading another comment, that some people tried the Bliss C miner and on Hive OS as well, and Hive is way more sophisticated and uses less power than Bliss E for the same hash rates. Hive does come with a fee though. I would say the electricity savings makes up for the pool fee. I use about 150 watts. Let's make 550 mega hash on Hive. All right. So this guy is saying Hive is a little bit better. And I mean, the stats here that you are seeing on the web GUI and on the miner itself with the Hive on ASIC firmware is pretty awesome, in my opinion. Pretty cool. But to each of their own. Mileage may vary, so this may be good or may not be better than Blissy. I'm not quite sure. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Let me know your thoughts. And if you guys have any better overclocking numbers that I could try, I would love to try it. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Peace out.